to InGame Live Prime Time, hour number one of our 2-hour extravaganza on this Thursday evening. Scott Wetzel, Dave Sharapan for the next 2 glorious hours, right up until 10 p.m. Eastern Time as we watch and, more importantly, bet on the world of sports and hopefully make a couple of shekels along the way. A lot going on today for sure, off the court and off the ice. We got Embiid out, so is LeBron and AD. Memphis ships out Adams. Quinn is in, and so is Taylor Mathis for the first hour. It's a beautiful thing. What's going on, boys and girls? How are you tonight, Taylor? We'll start with you. How are you? Since you're the fresh face of the group here, for sure. How you doing tonight, Taylor?
I am doing great. Excited for some NBA. Excited for next week in Vegas for the Super Bowl. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Look at Dave's rocking the Super Bowl hat already.
I got
who better than Dave would get the first dibs on the Super Bowl stuff? I'm sure you got connections there, Dave, right?
Got a guy for all the merch.
I figured.
we got a special SportsGrid personnel promo code. You got to just say Dave. Guy knows a guy about a thing. We'll do that. Every day when Wetzel and I do the show, Taylor, he comes up with adjectives. It's terrific Tuesday. It's wonderful wild Wednesday.
Ooh,
We're just going to dub today Taylor Thursday. Okay, there you go. We'll just call it Taylor Thursday. It works. The T, and we're going to bet over number of times that we say Taylor in the next hour, just like me, you, and Ranieri did on Monday, because we're one day closer to the Super Bowl. And there's more ridiculous Taylor theories. I heard some 13 thing today. What's going on with this? It's out of control.
I've heard the 13 thing too so much. There are full-blown videos on TikTok of women doing math, and everything equals out to 13. And they think of the craziest things to figure it out. It's like Taylor, I actually said they called it Taylor Math. And I was laughing because I'm like, that's almost my full name right there. Taylor Mathis, Taylor Math, it's close enough.
I tell you, I'm not making this up, guys. And in fact, Matt George, our producer, I told him first. I swear to God, when I'm coming into work tonight outside of the studio offices here, I ran across someone who was identical, just the spitting image to Taylor Swift. I mean, I did a double take, and it wasn't like phony, like you know how someone can try and look like someone else. This actually looked like natural. The lipstick, the whole kit and caboodle. She had a little hat on or something, but it was just like, I was like dumbfounded. Like, wow, is she in New York? Because if so, here she is right outside of SportsGrid. It was amazing.
You're going to have to get the glasses, Wetzel. We talked about this.
Yeah.
The distance thing is now a close thing. You're going to have to get the readers
or something. This was 6 feet. This wasn't that far. 5, 6 feet, I'm telling you. I think it was her. I really do.
Going to have to get him glasses. Taylor, his eyes are going. I'm telling you, he's been squinting and looking, and now he just thinks he walked into a spitting image of Taylor Swift right before walking downtown New York. Listen, it's possible, but it's on all of our minds. It's on everybody's mind. It's on all the content stuff. So on Taylor Thursday, you see TikTok videos of more Taylor Math and at T Math on the Twitter. This could be, you might get even more followers, and for a good
never
reason.
know. You never know.
Right? T Math. That's it. Oh my God.
Now, what is this? Maybe somebody will come across
What is this 13 thing, Taylor? Well, I know that's her lucky number, right? 13 for some goofy reason. So what are you following on Twitter? What are you seeing there?
I'm not exactly sure. I think it's just most of the crazy Swifties, the T Swift fans, trying to find meaning in everything that she does, because there is a big thing with Taylor Swift that surrounds her way prior to her being, part of the NFL and her dating Travis Kelce, that she's very intentional with everything she does marketing wise when it comes to song names, album drops. Every little thing is like a hint at something. It's a big thing Taylor Swift is known for. I think that all of these Swifties, along with these maybe newfound Taylor Swift fans that are also NFL fans, there's probably few and far between out there because it seems like everybody does not want the association between the two. But they're discovering new ways to figure out how the number 13 correlates with Taylor Swift and the NFL in the Super Bowl game. So that's basically how it all comes together with the number 13 for them.
Kelce.
You know what it sounds like, Dave?
Okay.
I was
Kelsey,
gonna say,
13
you know what?
receptions is plus 850.
Oh, okay.
So 13 receptions, 8 and 5, 850 adds up to 13. The 49ers, they're playing the 49ers. 4 plus 9 is 13. All these 13 start coming
That's
Let's
cute.
see.
Okay.
See?
I like that one. I do like that one, I must say.
Yeah.
You know what it reminds me of, David? And we'll date ourselves. Now, that this was actually even before my time, but it sounds like the Beatles, right? I mean, every single Beatles song, you play it backwards. There's all these subliminal messages. That's kind of how the Beatles were, later on in their career. Like, everything meant something. And you just can't take it for face value, right?
Exactly.
I think every person watching this show and Taylor and everyone behind the scenes has no idea what you're talking about.
I killed John or I killed Paul. I killed Paul, right? Remember that one when you play it backwards?
Well, thank goodness. Our producer, Jack, knows who the Beatles are. No, I don't know anything about the playing backwards. Did it ever?
You never heard that one?
Never occurred to me. A record
and you hear the guy say, I killed Paul?
No.
Or John? You never heard that? Oh, wow.
Why would I play
I know who the Beatles are, but I don't know that song.
Oh, yeah. Google Beatle. Is it John or Paul they killed? They're getting old age. The COVID stuff. I killed Paul, right? Okay. So if you play the song backwards,
Paul is still alive.
There's a
John Lennon gets the one that got shot. It's Paul.
I know this was before. This
Oh.
was way before. This is old conspiracy. This is 70s conspiracy. I wrote a class book on. No, not a class book, but I wrote a class essay on that.
Really?
You play it back. You never heard that? Google it.
No.
Interesting.
I'm telling you, it'll come up. Yeah, it was. So they all thought he was dead, and they didn't show him any time for like a year. Yeah.
Really?
All right, good stuff. Yeah. You didn't hear that, really? Wow.
No.
All right.
What do you like in the Cleveland?
You didn't hear
Memphis
about the
game? That's what we
hijacking
gotta
in
get to,
Seattle.
please.
Yeah. All right. Line movement in the NFL. Or was there really a line movement, Dave? So yesterday, Super Bowl line is 1.5, right? But minus 105 on Kansas City if you took the 1.5. Now it's up to 2.5, but it's minus 115. So they really didn't move it a full point, right? Because you could have had 1.5 at minus 105 to 2.5 now, laying bigger juice. So why would they do that, Dave?
It's a resistance to go to 3. There's nobody wants to go to 3. I was just telling K-Dub, first one to 3 probably loses because once you go on to 3, with the amount of volume and all this, you don't want to move off of 3. You're going to have all this handle. The last thing we need is a 24-23 Niners win, and that game falls 1, and all the plus, and that's no good. That there will be a meeting Monday in some book if this game falls 1. And how did this happen?
Yeah.
You don't want.
They would never. I would think never go to 3. We'll talk about it. And beat out for Philadelphia.
Quarterback at quarterback. We're going to lay some juice. We're going to have some dog prices. And we're going to go right in the middle.
Because I don't know what they're doing. To me, they're in a complete rebuild, Kev.
Go run. That's where overbackers on this 51.5 shot.
So right now we saw a little bit more over money, but it's hovering right around.
The winner of this game will be the division
I don't care if they win because all we care about is the money, baby. The money.
Pro Football Today. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
I can tell you, like, Las Vegas is heavy San Francisco territory. All right, there are a ton of Niner fans, man, in Las Vegas and in Nevada, and specifically Reno. Reno's close, obviously, right? So, like, Reno's numbers will be a little bit different, but the total of 47.5. I get it.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
I kind of thought that Mike would maybe go in a different direction or at least listen to some people with some different ideas.
If you were going to retain Mike Tomlin as coach, and I believe with both feet that you should, that you shouldn't let him really anywhere near this hire. That he had proved over the years that this was not an area of comfort or expertise for him.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Purdue on the road in a very difficult place to win in Piscataway, New Jersey. Not in Jersey Mike's Arena, but in the RAC. It was tight.
You still have to win these games. Like, you can talk about even equate it to the NBA. Like OKC just rolling into Detroit, going like, yeah, this is going to be an easy victory, and not coming away with the W because you're not focused here. Good move there for the Purdue Boilermakers. You can take a look at Zach Edey.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
One that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in-game live, prime time. Scott Wetzel, Dave Sharapan, Taylor Mathis right here until 9 p.m. Eastern time. And Dave and I will take you till 10 p.m. We got 4 NBA games. We got no hockey. We're in the All-Star break. And then we got a handful of college basketball games. Not a great lineup, but we got a few games that we'll keep an eye on over the next couple of hours for sure. But obviously the big talk this week and next week will be the Super Bowl. So we had a little bit of a line change today. Like I said, the odds were easier. You really still do have the option of laying or getting 1.5 at less odds or taking the 2.5 at bigger odds. It's kind of the same. But Warren Sharp, our sports gambling expert on Coast to Coast today, talking about possible line movements here in the Super Bowl.
The biggest thing that's most interesting to me about this one is we see the spread flashed up here on the screen and where we're sitting at right now. It's just going to be interesting to see if we're going to get any more of that anti-Chiefs money that came in so strongly last week on the Baltimore Ravens and push that number. I mean, a lot of people didn't think that, okay, we're not going to get anything better than 3.5 here. Let's get the Chiefs right now. We can get them at 3.5. Wait, now it's up at 4. Well, let's get them at 4. It can't get any better than that. Well, now it's going to 4.5. And then it ultimately goes up to 5. It's like crazy the amount of money that came in late against the Chiefs on the Ravens. And some of those people who were betting the Ravens big probably felt like, hey, look, if Zay Flowers doesn't fumble this ball, we might win this game. Like this should have been the Ravens side here, even though I believe that they're probably wrong in that case. The Ravens would have had to change their whole offensive tactics, in my opinion, to make them be the right side. We'll never know at that point. But the point is that those same people might be ending up coming in here on the San Francisco 49ers at some point. I would be surprised if we saw 3, but I was also surprised to see 4.5 or 5 last week.
All right, what do you think, Dave? We'll start with you. You think you kind of said no earlier. I don't think we ever will, but you know best. You think we'll ever get to 3?
Oh, I'd be really reluctant by any book to go to 3. I'm going to take a look at my line screen right now. No, there's not going to 3. There's nobody going to 3. Unless somebody comes in and wants to bet $5 million and lay 2 or 2.5 at a book, that book might say, you know what, we better go to 3, try to take a bet back. But no, it's not going to 3. Listen, they bet against the Chiefs with Buffalo. They were wrong. They bet against the Chiefs with the Ravens. They were wrong. A lot of these guys, the rhombuses and the parallelograms, they like to send the bad guys in, and they like to be right. They'll keep doing the same thing over and over and over until they are. They already did. The books out west here, we went to 1. The places in Vegas. People showed up and bet $100,000 at 3 different places. Friends of mine put out the tickets. They did it at Caesars and BetMGM and at Circa. They already bet minus 105 at one place, 105,000 minus one. The other one was laid a money line, 120,000 to win 100, and the other one was minus 1.5, 110,000 to win 100. So the resistance is there. The books know it. They can go back down anytime they want. They're not giving that door up to 3. No way.
Yeah. Taylor, where have you? I won't hold you to it, but are you leaning one way or another, San Fran or Kansas City?
Kansas City, all the way. I feel like I've been on Kansas City the last few weeks. Everybody seems to count them out. Like last week, or the Ravens were in before the game even started. I was all in on the Chiefs. I feel the Chiefs for the Super Bowl, too. I think they're a dynasty. We talked about it on Monday a little bit, Dave and Joe and I, that they're essentially the new Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. So I would not be surprised if we see the Chiefs go into the Super Bowl as underdogs and come away with the win.
Who are you giving your dad? That's all I need to know. I don't know.
I gave him the Chiefs already. I also gave him 2 early props that I like as well for the Super Bowl.
Props? So
I did.
So Scott, I just want to bring you up to speed. Taylor's dad's named Dave, and she's been helping him out, learning sports betting and different things like that. He doesn't really want to hear a lot of the explanation. He just wants the picks. So he's like, Taylor, give me the picks. And she's been nailing it with the Chiefs the last couple of weeks. So you gave him the Chiefs. Did you do we have a board for the props you gave your dad or what? Do you already put those out?
I think we have a board for the props that I have for tonight for the Super Bowl, which are the ones that I gave my dad. I gave him tight end George Kittle, longest reception under 21.5 yards. And it's not a knock on my fellow Hawkeye Kittle because I love me some George Kittle. But this is really a play about how phenomenal the Chiefs secondary has been all season. The defense has really been a surprising storyline for this team coming out of Chiefs Kingdom. They allow for the 3rd lowest rate of explosive plays in the NFL. Kansas City faced 39 tight ends this season. Only 36% of them went over that 21.5 receiving yards as a total yardage, and only 2 of them went over this longest reception line, taking the under on Kittle longest reception, 21.5 yards.
That's not bad. I would think that would be an underplay anyway, right? I mean, George Kittle, he was great at a point. He's basically been invisible last couple of games.
He's hit that line, though, 80% of the time through his last 10. So it does make it's actually juiced to the over. Yeah, but I like the under based on kind of what I looked at and the numbers that I saw. I'm rolling with the under on Kittle.
What do you think, Dave?
I have to look a little deeper into it, but anything that went over 8 out of 10 times, makes sense why that's juiced over. I like the over in the game, so that the potential for big plays makes sense to bet it over, but all these years in the book, anytime anybody tells me they're betting under on a prop, whether it's receptions, rushing yards, passing yards, I'm usually pretty good with because maybe for the last 20 years, it needed the under on every single prop in the book. So tell me under. Sounds good to me. Give Dad that one. But your dad's not going to like to root for the under. It's harder to root for the under props, isn't it?
It is harder to root for the under. I will say my dad, he's probably watching right now. He watches me whenever, but he is not a big NBA guy, so he doesn't want the explanation for the NBA plays that I give him, but he loves NFL. He's a big football guy, played football, loves to watch football. So he likes the explanation, and he loves that George Kittle also went to Iowa. He's originally from Iowa. I went to Iowa. So he's probably going to hate rooting against George Kittle for that, but we can root for him in other ways throughout the game.
You know what's scary to me, Dave, is I can't find anybody who thinks San Francisco is winning, yet the line is going the other way. And that is the sure sell time to go with the boys in Vegas. If history says anything. But I agree. I mean, I like Kansas City. Everyone I talk to likes Kansas City, and yet they bumped the line up to 2.5 to entice more KC money, even if it is more, a bigger vig. What do you make of that?
Nothing but Kansas City talk out here. I need you to come out.
Yeah,
unfortunately, you would stay back and referee and hold down the home front back east. But if you came out here, everywhere I go, this place is being taken over by Niners fans. There's nothing but Niners talk. The West Coast, East Coast thing is real. It was real in 2020 when these two teams played. I was in the book still, taking bets. And out west, we needed Kansas City. And back east, they couldn't get a bet. I was talking to guys that were running books back there. They couldn't get a bet on the Niners. I said, fly your guys out here and tell them they can bet the Niners here. It's less. I mean, so I don't know. This might be one of those East Coast, West Coast divides. And in the Central, I think you're going to get more Chiefs bets too because, you got like Mr. Dave Mathis and Chiefs fans all sprinkled throughout the Midwest. So I don't know. This end of town, out west, it's all Niners.
Kansas City money come in late then? Or does the Niner money come in late? Are they waiting for it to maybe go to 3 before the Chiefs money comes in? Is that the ticket?
No, they're just coming in. They're coming in on Monday or Tuesday. The Chiefs fans will come and they'll bet the Chiefs. That's why out here you don't have to go to 3. They're going to take 2. They're going to take whatever you give them. There's nowhere else to go.
You take the 1.5 or do you take the 2.5 points? That's also the question. NBA screwed up again tonight. What else is new? We'll talk about that next.
Quarterback at quarterback. We're going to lay some juice. We're going to have some dog prices. And we're going to go right in the middle.
Because I don't know what they're doing. To me, they're in a complete rebuild, Kev.
Go run, run, run. That's where overbackers on this 51.5 shot.
Right now, we saw a little bit more over money, but it's hovering right around.
The winner of this game will be the division
I don't care if they win because all we care about is the money, baby, the money.
Pro Football Today. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
I can tell you, like, Las Vegas is heavy San Francisco territory. All right, there are a ton of Niner fans, man, in Las Vegas and in Nevada, and specifically Reno. Reno's close, obviously, right? So, like, Reno's numbers will be a little bit different, but the total of 47.5. I get it.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
I kind of thought that Mike would maybe go in a different direction or at least listen to some people with some different ideas.
If you were going to retain Mike Tomlin as coach, and I believe with both feet that you shouldn't let him really anywhere near this hire. That he had proved over the years that this was not an area of comfort or expertise for him.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Purdue on the road in a very difficult place to win in Piscataway, New Jersey. Not in Jersey Mike's Arena, but in the rack. It was tight.
You still have to win these games. Like, you can talk about even equate it to the NBA. Like, OKC just rolling into Detroit going, this is going to be an easy victory, and not coming away with the W because you're not focused here. Good move there for the Purdue Boilermakers. You can take a look at Zach Edey.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
One that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Welcome back in-game live, prime time here. Scott Wetzel, Dave Sharapan, Taylor Mathis until 9 and 10 p.m. Eastern time as we watch and bet on some college basketball, a little NBA, and we'll continue to preview the NFL. Did get some baseball news apparently moments ago. The Milwaukee Brewers apparently trading Corbin Burnes to the Baltimore Orioles, apparently for a couple of minor leaguers. Once that officially crosses the wire, we'll let you know the full details of that. But on the surface, if that is the case, guys, it's a great trade for Baltimore, right? Keep on saying, when you're going to really add on a real player. I think they did here in Burnes if this deal goes down. And if you're the Milwaukee Brewers, I know there was some the rumbling in the front office and getting a contract done, and there was some talk last year about them moving Burnes, but didn't think it would actually happen, but apparently it will. So big blow for Milwaukee, and I think a great trade for Baltimore. Taylor, we'll start with you. What do you think?
I love it for the Orioles. It's something that they've needed to do. People, I feel like, get on Baltimore for the fact that they never sign any big names. And here you're getting one of the best pitchers in baseball in Corbin Burnes. I don't know what the Brewers are doing. I feel like they're making some weird moves. Counsell coming, and now he's the manager for the Chicago Cubs. They're getting rid of probably their best arm that they've got in their starting rotation. Little interesting. Not sure what the move is there in Wisconsin, but excited to see what happens here. We're starting spring training very shortly.
Yeah. I'll tell you the person I feel sorry for. I feel sorry for Pat Murphy. Who's Pat Murphy most asked? He's the new manager of the Milwaukee Brewers. The guy's a lifer. The NFL is one thing, but baseball is the antithesis. NFL, you could be 36 years old to get a head coaching job. 36-year-old, you're still the bat boy in baseball, right? This poor guy, he's 65 years old. He spent his entire life in baseball. He's been the bench coach for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, whatever it is, right? He finally, after 45 years in baseball, finally gets his shot at the big time, and he's not on the job for 2 weeks. And what does the team do? They trade away one of their best pitchers. He's like, really? I spent 45 years in baseball waiting for my shot, and now you're giving me a bunch of minor leaguers? So I feel bad for Pat Murphy.
It's great for Baltimore, though, right? Like, Baltimore was the 1 seed last year, and the knock on them was they didn't have a one starter. They did not have a guy who could go win them a game or just take him 7 innings and give him a shot to win a game. They went and got the one thing they clearly needed. They have a great lineup. This is a great move for Baltimore. This would be something that, that would affect the season win total a little bit. That would affect the division odds a little bit, for sure, dependent on the World Series. I think that's a great move for them. And as far as Milwaukee, the NL Central feels like it's as wide open as could possibly be right now. Cincinnati maybe on the way up. Obviously, it's nighttime in Pittsburgh behind me every time I'm on the grid, but I think the Pirates had a successful season last year. They're getting better. Taylor's Cubs are right there. They always are going to be. The Cardinals were down. This was the Brewers' division to win, and they traded their number one starter. So
weird.
It's kind of like they must have known that they weren't going to be able to afford them. And it's one of those situations in baseball that you see more often than not with these mid-market or small-market teams. They trade guys maybe right before or right as they become that elite player and get prospects. We'll see what the package is, but I'm excited for Orioles. That's really good news. I'm going to have to make 2 calls to my 2 favorite Oriole fans after this and say, you got your guy. This is good.
Yeah. It's bad for baseball, though. Like, if you're a last-place team and you have a great player and you say, you know what, we just can't afford him when he becomes a free agent, okay, I kind of understand that. But if you're a first-place team like the Brewers and you still can't afford that guy, is it the Dodger goofy contracts, this offseason, scared Milwaukee away and just said, when this guy becomes a free agent, we're not going to afford $35, $40 million a year, even though we're in first place. It's not good for baseball when teams can't keep their best players because they're afraid of the open market. It just, to me, it's not. But
welcome to my world. This is what it's like to be a Pirate fan for the past 40 years. Like, every guy that got good went somewhere else, and either had team success or bigger success. And I was slowly, wishing that the Pirates would be 500. So it's not great for baseball. You're right, but that's the way the economics of the game have been. I don't know if it's getting better or worse, but yeah, it's good for the Orioles. That's if we can keep the Yankees out of the playoffs, I'm good with it. So anything that will help a team in the AL East not named the Yankees, let's go.
Yeah, that's the main goal for all baseball fans. Everything else is secondary, for sure. We got 3 NBA games underway, a strange line in one, and then, I don't know what you want to make of the Lakers. We'll start there. No LeBron tonight, guys. No AD either. This whole kind of rivalry week thing backfired with the NBA because they don't realize their players just don't want to play. They just, I don't know how they can't play against the Boston Celtics, but neither one of those two bozos are. So, lo and behold, Lakers leading at 49-44. David, the line went up, 15 and a half in some circles before they tipped off. It's down to 8.5. No, and me as a Celtic fan, I know. Listen, it would be just like for them to lose this basketball game. So I know you're getting great value right now at 8.5, but I would be still, if I get it down to 4.5, then I'll bite, but I'm not even willing to lay 8.5 against the wounded Lakers.
Saw it the other night when we were doing the show. They started slow. It took them forever to get going. Then we thought we were going to cover that 8, and they end up winning by 6. You got to get it under, ideally under 6, Wetzel, and it might be time. So we'll keep an eye on it, for the next hour and a half. If we can get it below, I don't know. Lakers Celtics still does it for me when it's either in the uniform or it's the memory for me that was the best NBA rivalry from the Magic and Larry Bird days. And I saw it that they weren't playing, and I was like, man, you'd have to really be hurt to not want to play in this game. I mean, AD didn't play in Atlanta, so maybe he really is hurt. K-Dub told me that they're talking about trading LeBron James. The Lakers are actually putting it out there that they're entertaining offers for LeBron James. So maybe it's the end of the Lakers, but they might win tonight or at least cover the spread.
Where would he go? Right? What would you give up for him?
Cleveland?
How much would you have to give up for him, Taylor? Would you want him on your team at this point?
No.
I mean, if you trade for him, you got to give a whole slew back, right? I mean, I don't think I'd want him either.
Send him down to Phoenix with you.
No, thank you. I'm like, we're already, for me, the game plan with the big 3 for Phoenix was already something that some of us scratched our heads at because I feel like the NBA is moving away from that power team mentality a little bit. We're seeing a lot more 3-point shooting. The Suns don't really have that. I feel like 2 of our big 3 are on the back end of our careers. We don't need another guy like that here in Phoenix. And I'm also kind of a LeBron James hater a little bit. Maybe it's the Chicago in me. I'm like a MJ stan for life. So I'm not a huge LeBron James girl.
Yeah, that's I knew I liked you for some reason. Nobody is. Nobody's a LeBron James person. Just
talking about
no.
Kevin Walsh is the biggest LeBron James guy in the whole network. Yeah. He loves that guy.
Yeah, he's the apologist. He represents
he wants to send him to Philadelphia.
30 others.
He already worked out the money, Scott. He said Tobias Harris and one other guy ship him to L.A. Take LeBron by himself. The money works out.
Is LeBron going to win the 76ers a championship when Embiid is out right now? The 76ers can't do anything unless Embiid's on the court with them.
Right.
So they think that is LeBron James going to step up and be that piece? Because I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
I think it was wishful thinking because he has them to win the Eastern Conference. I think that's what it was.
How about, there are 2 teams. 2 teams that kind of, really 3 that kind of jump off the page. If they're really serious, and I don't know his contract situation, but let's just say they really were thinking about moving him. The 3 teams, obviously the one is Cleveland, right? Go back home and finish out his career with the Cadavers. Another one would be the Knicks, right? I mean, he's always talked about how great it is to be in Madison Square Garden. There's always been buzz with the Knicks. Now they're pretty good. Could he be the final piece? And then the last one, which I don't even want to bring up, I really, God forbid, I don't know what I would do, but How about him going to the Boston Celtics, one of his main rivals over the years? Could he be the final piece to finally get this dopey Celtic team over the top? I mean, how weird would that be?
You want him. You know you want him. Right there.
With a lot of superstar players that finished their careers in Boston that you would never think. Nice little hat there. I like that.
It is. I like that too.
I just as soon lose. I just as soon lose.
You would not. That's not true.
I would. Absolutely. Absolutely. I would just as soon lose.
I don't even know. Look at the championship odds. They're the favorite now, clearly, plus 310. Right. Nuggets, Western Conference team, 440. I don't know what's going on in Milwaukee. They lose last night as 11-point favorites at Portland. Doc looked like confused or not knowing the personnel at the end. If LeBron goes to the Celtics, I don't even know what you'd make the number. It would have to depend on what they gave up. But my goodness, Scott, you're going to have to get a LeBron James. If he goes to the Celtics and they win a championship, you're getting a LeBron James
up for LeBron.
Celtics, something. Yep.
They would win. If you got LeBron for even Jaylen Brown, who never hit a big shot in his life, I'm telling you, they would win the championship. They would. But I don't want it. I'm losing with Jaylen.
Quarterback at quarterback. We're going to lay some juice. We're going to have some dog prices, and we're going to go right in the middle.
Because I don't know what they're doing. To me, they're in a complete rebuild, Kev.
Go run. That's where overbackers on this 51.5 shot.
So right now, we saw a little bit more over money, but it's hovering right around.
The winner of this game will be the division
favorite. I don't care if they win, because all we care about is the money, baby. The money.
Pro Football Today. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
I can tell you, like, Las Vegas is heavy San Francisco territory. All right, there are a ton of Niner fans, man, in Las Vegas and in Nevada, and specifically Reno. Reno's close, obviously, right? So, like, Reno's numbers will be a little bit different, but the total of 47.5. I get it.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
I kind of thought that Mike would maybe go in a different direction, or at least listen to some people with some different ideas.
If you were going to retain Mike Tomlin as coach, and I believe with both feet that you shouldn't let him really anywhere near this hire. That he had proved over the years that this was not an area of comfort or expertise for him.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Purdue on the road in a very difficult place to win in Piscataway, New Jersey. Not in Jersey Mike's Arena, but in the rack. And it was tight.
You still have to win these games. Like, you can talk about even equate it to the NBA. Like OKC just rolling into Detroit going, this is going to be an easy victory, and not coming away with the W because you're not focused here. Good move there for the Purdue Boilermakers. You can take a look at Zach Edey.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
One that's been to a sporting event. The atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. In-game live, prime time, 40 past the hour, hour number one. Scott Wetzel, Taylor Mathis, and Dave Sharapan. Just to throw it out there, little pop quiz, people, as we were talking about LeBron James maybe being traded. Little pop quiz. What do these players all have in common? And because I know you say LeBron not being traded is crazy. Longtime Chicago Bull Hall of Famer, Artis Gilmore. Longtime Atlanta Hawks Hall of Famer, Dominique Wilkins. Longtime New Orleans Hall of Famer, Pete Maravich. Longtime, he bounced around the league a little bit, but one of my all-time favorite players, Bob McAdoo. And longtime L.A. Laker Hall of Famer, Shaquille O'Neal. And last one, longtime Seattle Supersonics Hall of Famer, Gary Payton. What do they all have in common, folks?
I know. I already know.
Do you know?
You know it?
I do.
Dave, ring the bell. Ding, ding, ding. Jeopardy. Question number one. Yes, exactly.
They all
at
one
played.
point
Celtics.
wore the
Yep.
Celtic green. They all played for
Yes,
the
they
Celtics
did.
at one point, mostly at the end of their careers. But
Yes,
they did.
yes.
Yeah, yes.
Like LeBron, though. My point, like LeBron at the end of his career. So people say, oh, it's never going to happen, Scott. It's happened with, how many did I name? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Hall of Fame greats. They all kind of finished their years with Boston. So
do you carry that list around in that notebook that you carry around with all the bets? How did you come up with that so quick? That was outstanding work. You went through decades. There's guys that played in, that's the last 60 years. You got guys from top to bottom on that list. That was impressive.
I must say, I knew Dominique. I knew Maravich. I knew Shaq. I forgot about Gary Payton, and I forgot about Artis Gilmore. But I found this new website. It's fantastic. It's called Google. Try it out, and I'm telling you, this is going to be big. If you can buy stock in this, Googl. I don't, never heard of it before. It's really good, and you'd be surprised what you can find out. YouTube is another really good one I think is going to be hot. Yeah, Google and YouTube, I think, are going places. Could be wrong on that, but.
Get the black cloud.
Speaking of going
Get
places,
the black cloud.
my pathetic Celtics. Oh, we got to get the black cloud in? All right, we got to get the black cloud in. Celtics right now down 14 at the half. Oh, by the way.
This is
all
the
right,
black
let's make
cloud.
some money.
Celtics.
Yeah, let's get the black cloud. All right, this is, we're limited in our selections tonight, but you know what? This is still a powerful black cloud just the same. We got to go to the NBA. Late game in Utah. Jazz, one of the best home teams in the NBA, taking on Philadelphia. No Embiid. They're a mess. Looks like he's going to be out for a while. Torn meniscus. They're done. He's done. Give me the Utah Jazz, the Utes of Utah, singing the tune of -4.5. I didn't even buy the hook at 4, but you're not going to need to because they're going to win by double digits. How is Utah, one of the best home teams in the NBA, going against the wounded, pathetic Philadelphia 76ers? How are they losing tonight? I love this play. Give me Utah -4.5 as our double down bailout special tonight. What do you think?
Tell him, Taylor. Tell him.
I love it. I have a same game parlay that I love in this game too. And I'm right there with you on the Jazz today too. So I love -4.5 with the Jazz.
Uh-oh. Well, I'll just provide you with the rain gear that we might need. The Sixers have lost, 4 straight? Embiid's out. They're terrible.
Yep.
As bad could get. And it looks so easy. The line has steamed up from this morning, 3.5 or 4 to 5. One place just must be watching the show. It went to 6. There's another 6. They're watching it in rooms all over the world. Risk rooms, people watching the show are going, Wetzel's right. The black cloud's hot. They're laying the Jazz are -6. I can't remember the last time they were favored by 6. They're 15-6 in home games this season. Oh, boy. The computer only has them by 2. The Smart Moves NBA projection by the SportsGrid computer. Wetzel, you're against them. I hope we're not watching this later going, the Jazz won, but the Sixers covered. This is the only way you lose this game. I don't think the Sixers will win, but if they win by 3, the Jazz do, then we got to worry about having that umbrella for the Black Cloud.
Yeah. I mean, that's true, but and we do have the Lakers leading by 14, so I can't say it's like not possible for a wounded Sixer team, but they don't play without Embiid. They get the bad news. The whole team realizes the season's over tonight. I mean, this is like a gut to the solar plexus, right? You know, I don't know how they can compete. And they're in Utah, you know, high mountain, just like Denver, so they got to deal with that nonsense as well. I'm with you, Taylor. Let's go Utah Jazz.
Do we have a board for Taylor's same game parlay? Do we have a board for this? Can we show this, or do you want to just give it to us, Taylor? What do you got?
I think
I didn't realize you had one. Okay. Yeah,
I do. I've got a same game parlay in this. So when you said that you're on the Jazz, I was like, I'm right there with you. My same game parlay is in this Jazz 76ers game. I'm starting off, though, with Utah on the money line, because this is a much-needed home return for the Jazz after a 6-game road trip going 4-2 through that stretch. Utah plays with a pep in their step when they're in Salt Lake City, 15-6 straight up, and 8 points better per game offensively when they're at home. On the flip side, the 76ers are not the kind of team that can afford to lose their superstar Joel Embiid. Without Embiid, Philly holds a record of 3-9 this season. When the process is out, the bench needs to produce, and that has not been the case for the 76ers. They average a league low of 27 points off the bench per game. Jazz get right tonight at home. Leg 2 of my parlay is point guard Colin Sexton over 18.5 total points. Sexton's gone over this line 80% of the time through his last 10 games, and he's averaging nearly 24 points a contest in his last 10 at home. Earlier this season, Sexton scored 22 against Philly without Embiid. We're going Sexton over 18.5 total points. Leg 3, Philly's Kelly Oubre Jr. over 17.5 total points. I don't know if Tyrese Maxey is ruled out. He has a game time decision. Last time I just checked on Twitter, I wasn't able to find if he is or not. But if the 76ers are missing both of their leading scorers in this game, Oubre's played 2 games without them this season, and he dropped 25 in both of those games. In the last leg, I'm going to go with 76ers, Tyrese Maxey, under 4.5 assists. Comes out to plus 750 for the same game parlay.
I like it. I think we're going to get a Utah route, despite what Dave says. What do you think, Dave?
Yeah.
I think so, too.
Listen, you guys are live. So you're thinking over. This is what happens, right, in a game. If you're thinking over, bet those props over, find those ones like that. I'm just looking at the board and watching a line move. This game is nothing but steam. And listen, sometimes the steam is absolutely right. Utah and over looks like the play. You got all the right props. This could be good. This might be a perfect way to start the weekend, is just catch that Thursday night last game in the NBA. No hockey tonight. Hit and miss college basketball. Jack sent us a thing this morning. What college basketball games you want to talk about? He said, I guess Wisconsin, Nebraska. I guess. There's one or two other ones. So I like where you're at. I like where both of you are at. This is good. We got something to root for later.
All right. How about the Knicks tonight? Dave, you and I did the show the other day, and they were only a 4.5-point home favorite against these Utah Jazz, right? We all kind of thought that was a suspicious line, that they win easily by almost triple digits. Now tonight, they're at home against Indiana, maybe a little bit better team, Halliburton back, and they were only a 2.5-point favorite, and that lowered from at least 3.5 that I saw earlier in the day. They're down 7 at the half. They're getting 4.5. They're going for their 9th straight win.
Mm-hmm.
They were down about 15-16 not that long ago, so they're seemingly making a run here. I will, Taylor, I don't know about you, but I'll take the Knicks plus the 4.5 right now, thinking they're going to come back and win this game.
Ooh, I like that. The only play I took in that game earlier, and then he ended up getting ruled out, was I liked Evan Mobley over his points total, because he's been playing very well lately. Cavs have been playing well in general. Then he got ruled out, so my prop went nowhere.
It's one of those ones. I called a guy this morning, Scott, and said, why is the Knicks line lower?
right?
Again,
Yeah.
we asked that question against the Jazz, and then it comes 2.5, 3, stays there all day. Now, they have played once before. The Pacers beat them. Okay. You bet on streaks or you bet against streaks? Usually on this show, we're betting on streaks. It looked too easy. If you liked it at 2.5 laying, you got to like it at 4.5 getting. So, I mean, again, we'll keep an close eye on it. Were the stats today, was it a disaster in the first half? Did they shoot bad? Was there an injury? Let's see. Field goal percentage wasn't too bad. The Knicks shot 3 of 14 from 3. I would have to think that's going to improve. So the Knicks plus 4.5, probably a good shot. Right now, the game's on a way under pace. That favors the Knicks. We might be on to something here. Knicks and Celtics in-game plays right now, Wetzel?
That's not bad. I mean, are the Celtics – I say it all the time, right? Yeah, I said it before the game started, or at least, a couple minutes in. Watch this dopey Celtic team lose, right? So, but then when you're presented with the option of getting Boston at basically pick-em odds, minus 1.5, even down 14, right? I mean, are they really, Taylor, are they going to lose to the Lakers without LeBron and AD? I mean, is that really possible?
Good question. I mean, you would hope not, but hey, guess it could happen. There's always just the weirdness, especially with everybody sitting out and everything. And I think an interesting thing to look at with players sitting out right now too is the MVP race with that 65 games rule now as well. And Embiid. And then Jokic, who knows if he's going to make that number too. I'm like, there's good value on some of the other guys out there. I like Luka Doncic right now.
What about that?
He missed the other night. Last night, sat out. I think all these guys are going to be wondering how many games they have left at the end of the year. But I can't pass up the Boston Celtics at pick 'em. Minus 1.5. I'll take my chances they come back. So... Why, Dave, are the boys in Vegas, are they not buying into the Knicks? I mean, too bad line. I mean, they're playing great basketball. They're a public team, right? It's not like the Memphis Grizzlies or the Sacramento Kings or, pick another smaller market team. I mean, this is the Knicks, and they're not giving any love to New York with all the New York bettors? I'm surprised.
No, because the New York bettors aren't betting them as much, at least out west. So I talked to a guy today. We were talking about this game specifically, but the Knicks in general. And, he's a professional bettor. And he said, I don't believe in the Knicks at all. And I said, they've won 8 games in a row. He said, they beat some bad teams. I said, you got to give him credit. I don't know. But he wasn't buying it. Sorry, Jack. No Knicks. Not happening.
Wow. No love from Brunson. How about that? We'll close that out at number 1 next.
Quarterback at quarterback. We're going to lay some juice. We're going to have some dog prices. And we're going to go right in the middle.
Because I don't know what they're doing. To me, they're in a complete rebuild, Kev.
Go run. That's where overbackers on this 51.5 shot.
Right now, he's all a little bit more over money, but it's hovering right around.
The winner of this game will be the division
I don't care if they win because all we care about is the money, baby. The money.
Pro Football Today. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
I can tell you, Las Vegas is heavy San Francisco territory. All right, there are a ton of Niner fans, man, in Las Vegas and in Nevada, and specifically Reno. Reno's close, obviously, right? So, Reno's numbers will be a little bit different, but the total of 47.5. I get it.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
I kind of thought that Mike would maybe go in a different direction or at least listen to some people with some different ideas.
If you were going to retain Mike Tomlin as coach, and I believe with both feet that you should, that you shouldn't let him really anywhere near this hire. That he had proved over the years that this was not an area of comfort or expertise for him.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Purdue on the road in a very difficult place to win in Piscataway, New Jersey. Not in Jersey Mike's Arena, but in the RAC. And it was tight.
You still have to win these games. Like, you can talk about even equate it to the NBA. Like, OKC just rolling into Detroit, going like, yeah, this is going to be an easy victory, and not coming away with the W because you're not focused here. Good move there for the Purdue Boilermakers. You can take a look at Zach Edey.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
One that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, in-game live prime time here, wrapping up hour number one, but don't go anywhere because a full hour to go. Unfortunately, Taylor won't be with us the second hour. So, Taylor, any thoughts on any Super Bowl props you want to throw out? Any plays for tonight that we should be keeping an eye on for the rest of the evening? What are your final thoughts here?
Ooh, all right. I've got another good Super Bowl prop that I love. I'm going to go with the game leader in rushing to be Kansas City's running back, Isaiah Pacheco, over Christian McCaffrey of the 49ers. Reason being, Pacheco's been a lot more efficient for Kansas City throughout this playoff season. He's been the leading rusher in every single playoff game that the Chiefs have played in. Christian McCaffrey has not been for the 49ers. So because of that, I think I'm going to lean on Pacheco to be the leading rusher. Right now, the odds on that are sitting at plus 170.
That's pretty good. You know why I like that? I didn't see that prop yet. I haven't really gotten my prop stuff. I'm going to do that this weekend, but it's a lot easier to run on San Francisco than it is to run on Kansas City as well. So getting almost 2-1 plus 170, that's a good one. I like that.
Without it being a real other option for the Chiefs, like where you could worry about somebody either getting equal carries or close to, or having the potential to break a long one, someone else. He's going to get the ball the most, and you're getting him plus 170. He really only has to beat one guy. Now, that's the best running back in the game. But CMC, I don't think he gets that. I mean, he has a legitimate shot to beat him as long as CMC doesn't have a longest run. You have to. So I would look at McCaffrey's longest run and maybe bet that over to go with your plus 170 because they might cancel each other out. So little different options. I know it's a Niners prop, and I don't want to get your dad upset or anyone else that's rooting for the Chiefs like you, but it's just an option. Just keep it in mind. That's all.
But there's also a chance that maybe, just maybe, McCaffrey doesn't play or is limited with his shoulder and head and stuff. So, Taylor, great job as always. Good luck with your plays.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
welcome back. It is In-Game Live Prime Time, hour number 2. Scott Wetzel, Dave Sharapan for another 60 minutes watching and gambling on the world of sports. Not a lot going on tonight, but we do have some plays. We got some NHL interesting plays with the All-Star break upon us that we can have some fun with second half of the season as well, including how long will the Edmonton Oilers win streak go, and a goofy one that's, you know what, not a bad play. It's 17-1. We'll get to it all over the next 60 minutes. Yeah, so my partner in crime, Mr. Sharapan. What's going on, Dave? How are you today for the new viewers and listeners?
Good. Good to see you. That was fun with Taylor. Super Bowl prop talk has begun. A big night here in town every year is the release of the Las Vegas, the Westgate, used to be the Hilton, puts out their 32-page packet of props this evening. So after the show,
32
I'm
pages.
headed down. It is insane. It is fun to go through. It's hard to find stuff, but they put it out, and there's a lottery every single year where, for me, I get to see some familiar faces, guys that I battled on other sides of the counter with, but all the professionals come in. Everybody shakes hands. The rules are simple. You get to go to the counter, you get 2 bets, 2 limit plays, and then you go to the back of the line. There's no fighting. There's no arguing. It's very respectful. Everybody knows that if you get there in time, you get in line, orderly, go make your play. Now, the problem is when you're in front of me and I'm going through my plays and I'm going to bet these 2. I get up there and the number that I was going to bet is gone because you bet it. You got to be very careful if we target the same props. It becomes an issue that maybe we didn't get to lay the number that we wanted or the juice that we wanted. But yeah, this is that week. They put up. I'll take a picture of it usually and post it on the Twitter. Friends of mine that are Vegas guys, lifers and stuff, they take pictures. We all put it on the socials. It's really fun to look at the board when they put up all the props all over. They take off all the games. And all the displays are props. So a lot of fun. It's Super Bowl week. I got to tell you, though, like I got the gear. I'm wearing this as one of my specials. I got a guy. I got the hat. I got all the stitching. It says Las Vegas down this sleeve. It's got the AFC and NFC patches on this sleeve. This is the official stuff. It's everywhere. Scott, the signage is everywhere. They turned the Luxor into a big Dorito chip. I mean, the places I like to park at a couple of the joints that I go to, there's a big football in the one self-parking lot. Like a big football with the Super Bowl logo. It's taken over the entire city, which is fine. It'll be fun to see everybody, but, it'll be fun to go back to normal in a week from Monday.
Right. How difficult are tickets to get? Or is there even any talk? Are like radio stations doing any kind of contest? Are they out there or no, they're not even available?
So we just got to experience the F1, right? And apparently some guy named Lewis switched to Ferrari today. I was talking, we did the show. I was like, I don't even know who Lewis is. So it was a big deal. But we got to experience tickets and demand for tickets for a once in a year event, and it was through the roof. I could tell you this. There's books that I go to and hang out not far from my house. They're charging $700 to sit in the book for the day to watch the game. The tickets for the game, Scott, I don't know how bad you want to go. I don't know if you need to donate blood, donate an organ, sell your house, turn in all the cars, yours, the kids, the wife's. Maybe you can go sit like on the 25-yard line at the Super Bowl here at Allegiant. Most expensive Super Bowl ticket on pace to be the most expensive ticket ever right now. Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. I'm surprised they go in these smaller places, rather than just, fine, okay, it's got to be 100,000. You're going to be at the Coliseum in L.A. every single year because we could sell. I don't know how many they literally could sell if they just said, okay, come watch. You may be a mile and a half away, but if you want to come be part of the whole festivities, I don't know what the limit is, but I did see somewhere where they were asking literally 5 figures. I'm guessing tickets face value are about what, $1,000, $1,500, maybe $2,000.
I think $1,500. I think $1,500.
$1,500, yeah.
But I saw between $15,000 and $20,000 a ticket for good seats. Yeah, 50-yard line seats, 20 to 25. I think somebody said it was 50 dimes for 2 seats on the 50. And on the 50 at Allegiant, we'll be in that private, they bring you all your food. There's a private club. There's all kinds of things. I mean, it has benefits, but I mean, it's still, that's a lot of money. I don't know. Hopefully Jack's going to find his way into getting a ticket. I'll drive when Jack comes out. I'll drive. I'll pay for the parking. Jack gets the tickets, and we just call it a deal. That's what the plan is. So, yeah, we're gonna work on that while he's here.
All right. We got a ticket broker, scalper, a professional scalper as part of our podcast, right? He does this for a living, makes good money,
Yeah.
And he has different ways to get these tickets. There's a group of them, he says, and they all pretend to be certain people, right? He said even he couldn't get a ticket. He said he got one last year out of being a ticket holder for the Arizona Cardinals. They buy lots of a couple thousand season ticket packages, right? And then you get put into a lottery, and you hope that you win. So he didn't win this year. He did win last year, but he, if he couldn't get access to these tickets, the guy that's got, I'm 100,000 tickets all around the league, just goes to show how tough they are to actually get.
Yeah.
But what would be your limit if it was your favorite team, Pittsburgh Steelers, in your hometown where you don't have to even travel? Someone said, all right, we got some tickets, not 50-yard line. We'll say, 35-yard line, mid to upper deck. How high would you go?
Boy, that's a good question. I've never been. I've been to the Stanley Cup. I've been to the World Series. I've never been to the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
I've been to NCAA tournament, not the Final Four, but the Sweet 16. Never been to the Super Bowl. All those games the Steelers played in. A nickel, a ticket. Like if me and the wife go, I pay $1,000 and get in the building and say I'm there. Is that fair? I don't think that's bad. I think that would be my limit, though. I don't know if I could stomach more than $500 a ticket. One game?
Yeah, you're not getting it. You can't be a janitor for $500 in a Super Bowl. I thought you meant 5,000.
No.
5 times.
Watch the football game?
$500. Face value is $1,500. You just said. You can't get in.
Quarterback at quarterback. We're going to lay some juice. We're going to have some dog prices, and we're going to go right in the middle.
Because I don't know what they're doing. To me, they're in a complete rebuild, Kev.
Go run. That's where overbackers on this 51.5 shot.
So right now, we saw a little bit more over money, but it's hovering right around.
The winner of this game will be the division
I don't care if they win, because all we care about is the money, baby. The money.
Pro Football Today. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
I can tell you, Las Vegas is heavy San Francisco territory. All right, there are a ton of Niner fans, man, in Las Vegas and in Nevada, and specifically Reno. Reno's close, obviously, right? So Reno's numbers will be a little bit different, but the total of 47.5. I get it.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
I kind of thought that Mike would maybe go in a different direction, or at least listen to some people with some different ideas.
If you were going to retain Mike Tomlin as coach, and I believe with both feet that you shouldn't let him really anywhere near this hire. That he had proved over the years that this was not an area of comfort or expertise for him.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Purdue on the road in a very difficult place to win in Piscataway, New Jersey. Not in Jersey Mike's Arena, but in the RAC. And it was tight.
You still have to win these games. Like, you talk about even equate it to the NBA. Like, OKC just rolling into Detroit, going, like, yeah, this is going to be an easy victory, and not coming away with the W because you're not focused here. Good move there for the Purdue Boilermakers. You can take a look at Zach Edey.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
One that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. InGame Live, PrimeTime. Scott Wetzel, Dave Sharapan here, just watching some of the action, just talking Super Bowl here a little bit. And just to follow up before we get back to the games, I'm going on Ticketmaster, Dave. So cheapest seats in the house on Ticketmaster anyway. And again, you can ask for anything. Doesn't mean you're going to get it. So, but we'll just, for the sake of argument, throwing it out there, over $8,000. Upper deck seats, over $8,000. The most expensive I'm seeing in an East Suite, it's a suite. So, you got to buy 6 tickets, $52,000 per ticket. Not even for the whole kit and caboodle. All the others, Section 101, about $10,000, $11,000, $12,000 to $15,000 in that range. So it would cost you about 5 figures plus to get into the building. So,
yeah, hold on.
And that's for the Taylor Swifts of the world, right? You buy a suite for $250,000. Who cares? What's the difference? I'm rich.
I think my earphone's not working because I stopped listening, or I couldn't hear exactly what you were saying when you started talking about 50,000 a seat. I mean, what could you possibly see for 50,000 where you left and went, that was a great idea? That was unbelievable. Boy, am I glad that I just spent for a family of 5 $250,000, or I got to get this suite and I got to get 6 tickets. So it's $300,000 to watch what? Mahomes win on a last-second play? Brock Purdy to lead the Niners to victory? We talk about it for a long, long time. Like, what? We've lost our minds that that's what we could possibly charge for this, or somebody might pay. I've sat in the suites. Somebody got me a ticket, and I went to see the Steelers play the Raiders here. The suites are unbelievably nice at Allegiant. They could pay me. Well, I don't know. I was going to say they could pay me $50,000 and I might not go. I might take 50. What would be your pay-in price? Well, you would probably go for a nickel. I wouldn't go for a nickel.
Yeah.
Would you go for a nickel? Someone's going to pay you $500 to go sit in the upper deck for this game. Would you go?
No.
See,
I really would. You're right. It's the one sport, really, out of all the 4 major sports, right, that the viewing experience at home is really better than the viewing experience being there. Like, baseball is cool. You could be, I grew up going upper deck, Red Sox, Yankee doubleheaders, right? Me and my dad, my brother, my cousins, everything. Those were great seats. You get to see the whole field and everything. There's not a bad seat in a house in a baseball stadium, right? Basketball, kind of limited, but okay. And hockey is terrific in person. No problem whatsoever there. It's the football, though, that, you're at home. You get to see angles. You get to see highlights. You get to see replays, not on some big screen. You're not freezing to death. You don't have some guy elbowing you on the side. I don't know. I much prefer being at home for a football game, even the Super Bowl. I really do.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess that comes with age because I went to so many Penn State games, and I always, we had to get there early. The student section was, the earlier you get there, if you're first in the gates, you sit next to the field, and then you went up. I've been to multiple Steeler games on the road. I have never been to Heinz Field, or what they call now Acrisure Stadium. I've never been. It was just one of those things that the weather was usually bad in Pittsburgh, and I didn't like sitting out in the cold. And then when I went to Penn State, I was a college kid, and Penn State started to get really good, and I was like, I'm never missing a football game, so I get it. But give me a baseball game anytime. Give me a hockey game anytime. I'll even go to basketball games have gotten to be more fun, and there you know what you're getting there. It's 2 hours, maybe 2 hours and 15 minutes. You're beginning to end. I don't want the football game. I don't want the Super Bowl is what, 4.5 hours? There's a lot of idle time in the stadium, a lot. And I'm really far away. The screens at the stadium here at Allegiant are unbelievable. You can see the replays from any seat in the stadium. But that would mean that I'm watching a game on a screen. I could do that at the comfort of my house or in a sports bar.
Yeah, for free.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
unless Jack gets the tickets. If Jack gets the tickets, I'll go with Jack.
That's true. Then you got to pay homage to Jack. Yeah. How about the parking? And how long do you have to be there, right, beforehand? You're not driving up a half hour before the game saying, okay, I'm here. Where can I park? Front row, right? You have to get there, 3-4 hours, I would think, before the game. You do your little tailgating, and then you got to get into the stadium, and you got to wait, and you wait, and you wait. And how about going home? Oh, my. That is literally a 12-hour day. No exaggeration. That's got to be a 12-hour day.
So I was just back there, and I went to MetLife, and I saw all the parking spots around MetLife, but the in and out of MetLife didn't look great. No, it's not. The strange thing about the stadium here at Allegiant, I think there's like 10,000 parking spots. They built it across the walkway from the casinos. So everybody usually parks at the casinos and then just walks across this bridge. If you think you're going to park at one of the spots at the stadium here, you better get there on Saturday. The game's on Sunday, but you better get into parking lot on Saturday. They got it all closed. You can't even get in there. I don't even know if they're allowing the public to park anywhere close to the stadium. It might be rideshare only or bus only or park at the casinos and walk only. I don't think there's actually parking. Now that I'll check on that, I'll let you know. But I don't think there's parking. By the way, 83-76, the Lakers lead the Celtics. A minute and a half left in the third quarter. So here come the Celtics, hopefully. We can get this thing closed. Yeah, they're now minus 130 on the money line. They're actually still dogs on the point spread. That's weird. They haven't flipped it yet. So let's get this thing in within 10, go into the fourth. We'll be good to go. Celtics win. The Knicks have come back 82-77. That one is just almost the end of the third quarter, too. So we're good. Our guys are coming back. That's good to see.
Yeah. Would have liked the Celtics to have been a little bit closer, but I tell you, Joe Mazzulla, I'm not a big fan of his at all. If he loses this basketball game,
why?
You can't. It goes back to my conspiracy. I bet against my conspiracy, which I say, whatever these superstar players don't play, they allow them to win the games. This way, no one can cry and yell and scream. Right? Lakers win tonight. Who's going to yell and scream about LeBron and AD not playing? What are you going to scream about? You won. I swear, I really do believe that. It's not going to happen all the time.
You're talking about tickets. What about the people that got the one? They went through the schedule, say at Christmas, and said, when did the Lakers come? Oh, February 1st. Let's get the Lakers tickets. We'll get to see LeBron maybe one last time, And they bought the tickets, and both him and AD don't play. Do they have a beef or no?
Yeah, absolutely. Right? I mean, the commissioner, Dopey Adam Silver, is just going to say, well, sorry, that is what it is. He's basically said that, we can't tell these guys to play if they're really injured or whatever, which we know they're not, at least not LeBron anyway. And LeBron, to be honest and fair, as I always am, has been halfway decent this year. He has. He's played a bunch of back-to-backs, but it's pretty sad when a guy is making $40 to $50 million a year and you're giving him a pat on the back because he's actually playing. So despite what the others are doing, I'm not going to prop him up that much. So, but yeah, you feel bad, right? I mean, this guy spent, good six figures, probably seven for a Laker game like this. And you find out both guys aren't playing. It's an epidemic at the NBA.
And then
I don't know.
You see them on the bench in the street clothes, hanging out.
Yeah.
High
Laughing,
fiving,
giggling, having
I've
fun.
seen that lead to a little bit of a problem for some people like that are at the game. You take what you get. I remember when guys would get healthy scratched, back in the hockey days, that's what they call when a guy is not playing. And it used to annoy me, back in the day when, the Oilers would come to Pittsburgh once a year. Well, Yari Curry's a healthy scratch. What? I wanted to see Yari Curry play. So it happens. Yeah. We need him to come back.
Got it great. Speaking of hockey, 17-1 shot we could bet on the NHL. We'll talk about that next.
Quarterback at quarterback. We're going to lay some juice. We're going to have some dog prices. And we're going to go right in the middle.
Because I don't know what they're doing. To me, they're in a complete rebuild, Kev.
Go run. That's where overbackers on this 51.5 shot.
So right now, we saw a little bit more over money, but it's hovering right around.
The winner of this game will be the division
I don't care if they win because all we care about is the money, baby. The money.
Pro Football Today. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
I can tell you, like, Las Vegas is heavy San Francisco territory. All right, there are a ton of Niner fans, man, in Las Vegas and in Nevada, and specifically Reno. Reno's close, obviously, right? So, like, Reno's numbers will be a little bit different, but the total of 47.5. I get it.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
I kind of thought that Mike would maybe go in a different direction or at least listen to some people with some different ideas.
If you were going to retain Mike Tomlin as coach, and I believe with both feet that you shouldn't let him really anywhere near this hire. That he had proved over the years that this was not an area of comfort or expertise for him.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Purdue on the road in a very difficult place to win in Piscataway, New Jersey. Not in Jersey Mike's Arena, but in the rack. It was tight.
You still have to win these games. Like, you can talk about even equate it to the NBA. Like OKC just rolling into Detroit going, this is going to be an easy victory, and not coming away with the W because you're not focused here. Good move there for the Purdue Boilermakers. You can take a look at Zach Edey.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
One that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets and when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back to InGame Live, Prime Time here. Scott Wetzel, Dave Sharapan. Just a couple of games on the board tonight. Not a whole lot, but still having some fun. Just to update the scores before we get to our NHL props that we can hit, in which one is kind of interesting. It's kind of fun. Knicks down 2 now as they've come back. They were down as many as, I want to say, at least 15. I know 15 or 16 in the first half. They're down 2. They're still getting 2, which is interesting. This Nick line with the boys in Vegas, very weird. At home, down 2, and they're still getting 2.5 plus 132 on the money line. So maybe that 2-point difference, 87-85, is not quite legit. Then the Celtics down 12 now, 97-85. They've just begun the fourth quarter as the Knicks game. More confident, obviously, the score is closer, Dave, but I said it before the break. More confident in Knicks coming back and winning than I am the Celtic team. If they can't beat the Lakers without LeBron and AD, man, that's down 12.
It just went to minus 250 on the money line, the Lakers.
Oof.
So looking at trying to dump that Celtics position right now. I'm not very confident in it myself. So they got a timeout, Celtics, 9.5 minutes left. Man, this is not good. So, yeah, we'll look to pair it maybe with something else. What is this NHL thing you're talking about? I wasn't ready for this. I was like, you keep talking about this 17-1. You've piqued my interest. We talked about it yesterday, and I went, I'm turning off the hockey knowledge for a couple days. I'm going to enjoy the All-Star game, and now you're going to make me open up menus. You're going to make me up. What are we looking up here? What did you come up with on this hockey stuff?
All right, here we go. By the way, Celtics give it up 97 points in 3 quarters without LeBron and AD.
Change
right?
the subject. I don't want to talk about
I just got to spit it out. I know. I just got to put the game aside. I'm going to let Joe take care of things. Right? We'll look at it in 5-10 minutes here.
Thank you.
FanDuel, to their credit, has offered a bunch of goofy little props that we could play for the month of March. And then they have also, if you go to their thing called League Specials, which they offer a couple of plays until the end of the year, which I'll get to each one. The one at 17-1 is this. Will Nathan McKinnon, clearly one of the best hockey players in the game, you know that, Dave, but for the listeners that might not, plays for Colorado, one of the best players in the game. Will he get at least 1 point in every single Colorado home game this year? 17-1. Now, I looked it up, and I wanted to make sure that so far he has a point. I don't want to be betting on something that's already a loser, right? It would be just like some of these books to say, oh, no, back in November, he didn't have a point. Well, what the hell are you putting it up there for, right? So, anyway, I did my due diligence. He has had at least right? I mean, that would be me. Oh, yeah, I like that bet. Yeah, it's already a loser, you dope. So, he has a point so far in every single home game.
Wow.
They only have 16 more home games left. So that they played 21, whatever it would be, home games.
Wow.
I counted 16 left. So it's only 16 games. There is one little caveat to it. You want the caveat now before you talk about the bet? Or all right, I'll give you the caveat now.
Give it to me.
Caveat now is that the bet is, will he have at least 1 point in all 41 Avalanche games? 2 out of the last 3 games, he's facing Vegas and Winnipeg. And while the Winnipeg game is going to be tough, right, because they play great defense, the last game of the year, I believe, is the Vegas game and Edmonton, rather. Winnipeg and Edmonton. Yeah, they played Vegas before that. I'm thinking he might not play because it's the last game of the year. They got everything all locked up. This guy could have a point in 40 straight home games but not play. And letter of the law is it says all 41, even if he plays or not, that would be a loser. That's the caveat.
So if he gets hurt, you're out. You lose.
You're out. Yeah. Rests.
You're
out.
If he gets scratched, you're out. He has to play every home game and has to get a point, essentially. If he does not play, you lose.
17
It's
to
a good
1.
bet. It's a good bet, but I wish it had the out. I wish it had the out. If he does not play, bet is refunded. That would be a more fair stipulation. Right. But if it's all action, and he's got a point in every home game so far, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So,
and there's not many where he has just 1 point, Dave. You looked it up. I mean, he's got like 2, 3, 4. I mean, he's like, yikes. He's got Chicago
it's really
on there
not a
too,
bad bet.
a couple of times.
See, I mean, now I have to go on the hunt for this
San Jose
because
twice.
I didn't. This is not something I was even entertaining. At least the good thing is I got a day or two because they're gonna leave it up for you know, at least through Saturday when the All-Star stuff is. All right. You got me. What else you got? You got other stuff here with this hockey?
Oh, yeah. We got plenty. All right, so the Edmonton Oilers. All right, 16 straight wins. How long? FanDuel offers up a bet. How long will the streak last? 16 games, meaning they're going to lose their next game. You get that at minus 105. Their first game back is at Vegas. They open up the second half of the season on a 6-game road trip. So first off, you know, I'll throw this question at you. But, you know, what do you think the odds would be in that game? Should I just bet Vegas or should I bet they're going to lose at minus 105? 17 games is plus 5 to 1 because their next game, if they were to beat Vegas, is Anaheim, which, you know, they're going to be a monster favorite. And then 18 to 1 is only plus 125 because, again, it's all predicated, I think, on the first game. You beat Vegas, you're probably going to beat Anaheim. So that makes 18, and they're only giving you plus 125 no matter what you do from there on out.
Wow. Trying to figure out, so the game is Tuesday here in Vegas.
At Vegas.
Right. Yeah. Small favorite for Pick'em? Yeah, that's it's about what that line is, right? That's that's going to be right there. It's going to be right there. And then the next game is who?
Anaheim.
After Vegas? They're going to win that game.
Vegas.
Right?
Right.
They're going to
now
win
you're
that
at 18.
game. So that's why that's plus 5. So you want to bet the 18. Is that what you bet the 18 to 1 or, you know, 18 game record price?
Right.
And I think maybe as a hedge, you take the Knights for small or plus 1.5 on Tuesday in case they win that. So
right.
I think you give yourself options. You give yourself options. I think they're going to do it. I think they're coming here to win and then to beat Anaheim.
Right.
And then I think they win both of those games. No?
Yeah, I think so. See, the question I have, Dave, is, and you set these lines, is it better to take 18 to 1 now at plus 125? Let's just say you're a $100 better, right? We'll keep it simple. So you bet 100, they're going to win at least 2 more games. You win $125. Or is it better to bet Edmonton $100 against Vegas, take those winnings plus $100 and bet it against Anaheim, even as monster favorites, and will you make more than plus 125?
Yeah.
I'm thinking you will, right?
Yeah, I think you will. Yep. I think you will. Like doing it like that, rolling it over. Yeah.
Right.
So we got to figure out the prices. I'm going to have to, I'll price it out for you. I'll shoot you a text tonight and we'll figure it out because we got to figure out. Are there any back-to-backs in there with Edmonton? I don't think there are, right? They play Tuesday.
Let us see.
Then they play Thursday, and then they play Saturday, I think, right?
Right. So let me go to Edmonton. I had my Colorado page up. Tuesday, Friday, Saturday.
Friday, Saturday.
Saturday's back-to-back.
Right.
But that would matter because you already won Anaheim. So if you got to Saturday's game, you'd be at 18, so it wouldn't matter. You'd be able to cash that ticket.
Okay. Wow.
And they got a big gap between Tuesday and Friday, too.
Yes, you would. Wow. I don't know. We're going to have to price this out. You got me good. That now you got me something to think about here. That's very interesting. You got me all over the place with that. That's good. I
All
like
right,
it.
how about this
What
one?
else you got? What else?
Monthly specials.
Okay.
They list 3 different guys. Well, I'll go with the guy that's most likely to hit it. Austin Matthews, 10 goals in the month of February at plus 145, which is who wants to do that? Can he get to 15 goals in the month of February, 28-1? I believe he's got 40 goals in 43 games. So he's averaging basically 1 a game. They got 12 games in the month of February. Can he get to 15? That's tough.
I would say no.
But
first thought,
after
but
the
I got to see
All-Star
the
break,
game.
they got a little juice, right? They had a whole
Right,
week off.
Right.
So they got a little.
I don't know. You got me
28
stopped in
to
my
1.
tracks. This is good. That's a big price.
28 to
shekel.
That's a big price.
It's worth a shekel.
It's got to be worth a shekel, right?
Shekel.
Has to be.
Just one.
Has to be.
Just one.
Yeah. Just one.
Just one.
Quarterback at quarterback. We're going to lay some juice. We're going to have some dog prices, and we're going to go right in the middle.
Because I don't know what they're doing. To me, they're in a complete rebuild, Kev.
Go run. That's where overbackers on this 51.5 shot.
So right now he's all a little bit more over money, but it's hovering right around.
The winner of this game will be the division
I don't care if they win because all we care about is the money, baby. The money.
Pro Football Today. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
I can tell you, like, Las Vegas is heavy San Francisco territory. All right, there are a ton of Niner fans, man, in Las Vegas and in Nevada, and specifically Reno. Reno's close, obviously, right? So, like, Reno's numbers will be a little bit different, but the total of 47.5. I get it.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
I kind of thought that Mike would maybe go in a different direction or at least listen to some people with some different ideas.
If you were going to retain Mike Tomlin as coach, and I believe with both feet that you shouldn't let him really anywhere near this hire. That he had proved over the years that this was not an area of comfort or expertise for him.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Purdue on the road in a very difficult place to win in Piscataway, New Jersey. Not in Jersey Mike's Arena, but in the rack. It was tight.
You still have to win these games. Like, you can talk about even equate it to the NBA. Like OKC just rolling into Detroit, going like, yeah, this is going to be an easy victory, and not coming away with the W because you're not focused here. Good move there for the Purdue Boilermakers. You can take a look at Zach Edey.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
One that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets and when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. In-game live, prime time here. Hour number 2 of our 2-hour extravaganza. Talking, believe it or not, hockey. Why not? Since there's really only a handful of college basketball games, just a handful of New York Knickerbocker-led NBA games, in which the Knicks now, I don't want to jinx it, but the Knicks have now taken the lead 95-91, and the dopey Celtics still down 9. With 6 minutes left, they're getting 5.5. They're not winning this game. That's gonna. Our parlays are going to get ruined here, Dave. But our good buddy Cam Stewart, Mr. Hockey himself, joins us. Talk a little pucks and a little bit of everything else going on in the world of sports. What's going on, Cam? What's on your betting plate tonight?
It's like Homer Simpson with the pig. It's still good. It's still good. No, the Boston Celtics, it's not good. Just let it go. The pig roast is over. I'm with you. Can you believe it? Like, out of all the teams, the Lakers too, gotta love sports gambling. Like, it just hits you right over the head. Too bad Fabio didn't get you a goal last night, but the Sharkies were close for you, Wetzel. Yeah. These guys are they're grinding. They're grinding hard, plus 1.5. I'm doing pretty good. The golf's so far so good with the matchup bets. I didn't have Thomas Dietrich as first-round leader. He's 9 under. But other than that, guys, I'm hanging in there. I could say that and get ready for the skills competition. In hockey, it's actually funny. I'm doing a live show with just before the game. I think a couple ex-NHLers are going to be there, some local celebrities and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm going down to a bar before the game and doing like a live hit, maybe a little comedy show. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. They just told me to show up and they're paying me. So that sounds good.
That sounds great.
Okay.
Good for you.
Yeah. I want an envelope with money in it, and I'll be your monk. I'll do whatever you want, guys. Whatever you want. You want me to dance, sing, make bets, whatever. You're the boss. Just give me money.
I love
it's that simple.
I absolutely love it.
You know the real
hit him
Dave.
with this bet, Wetzel. Hit him with this bet that you just hit me with last segment. We got a nice graphic for
All
it.
right.
Look, listen to this, Cam. See what he's got. He's got a lot of time to think on the train and the podcast, Opposite Picks podcast.
No more Fabio of the Sharks, Dave. He's on a beach.
No.
Not with Wetzel either, with a significant other. No more Sharks.
We're going
bets.
to the top.
Yep.
Yeah. We went from the bottom with San Jose to the top, right, Dave? We're going to the big boys here. Nathan McKinnon, Dave, or Cam, right? Believe it or not, he's got at least 1 point in every single home game this year. So FanDuel is offering up a prop. Will he get 1 point in every single of the 41 Colorado home games? So I said 16. It's actually 17. They've played 25 home games already. They only have 17 more. They're giving you 17-1 odds on this, Cam, for him to get 1 point, at least 1 point in every game so far, 25-25. Can he get it done? And Dave and I were talking, right, Dave? The one little caveat is he has to play in every single game. So the last game of the regular season against Edmonton, maybe he sits because everything is all locked up. You know, it'd be a shame we got 40 out of 40, and then, we don't play him last game and we lose our bet. But what do you think, 17-1 odds? Can he continue on his pace?
Funny, Gabe and I talked about this bet on our show, and I was like, I need more. Don't you guys need more than 17? More? Like, I do, Scott, because here's the deal. At the end of the season, Colorado's looking good. McKinnon sees the big picture. They're one of the Stanley Cup favorites. He probably wants to play in every game, and trust me, if you've ever seen Nathan McKinnon or met him or been in a locker room with him, he's like the modern-day Gary Roberts. Like he yells at players for if they're eating Taco Bell or McDonald's, he slaps it out of their hand. You idiots! Like he's a tough guy. Like he is all business when it comes to diet, and probably, in my opinion, probably the best all-around player in the league. People talk about McDavid. I'd rather have McKinnon on my team. I think he's tougher. I think he's better. Like it's just one of those things. I know McDavid is the ultimate offensive player, but I think McKinnon does more. Scott, it'll be close, but you're going to have to give me more than 17. There's too many variables there. I know he's been on fire, but I worry about Colorado at the end of the season. They got to protect that guy. If he has any type of injury, they can't screw it up. Their goal is the Stanley Cup.
What do you think, Dave?
I like the bet. I just want you give me 30, I'll start listening rather than 17.
I said, Cam, I like the bet if we have the stipulation, and we may have to shop this thing around, that if he doesn't play a home game, it's at least a refund.
Yes.
Because if for whatever if he plays every game and doesn't get a point, I'm good with losing that at 17-1. But I thought the same thing. If he doesn't play, loses the bet, I should be getting double 35 to 1 is what I thought in my head. And I said,
Yeah,
okay.
Dave.
So that's what I was trying to pencil it out and work it out. What about this Edmonton thing? Give them this one, Wetzel, please. I like the Edmonton bet. I want to see what
Quickly,
Cam
Dave,
says.
I would say this. They should do it like golf. Like, say he plays in 15 games and gets 15 points in those games, you should get less of the bet. You get 13 instead of 17. That's how you should. That would be the right thing to do. But
that would be.
I'm
fair.
not running the sports book.
Fair.
Yeah, that would be the fair thing to do. Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, well, pony up there, FanDuel and others. We threw it out there, so hopefully you guys can make a little adjustment on that.
Daniel's on line one.
Right,
Hey, Cam, sponsors, settle down. Just cool it down.
Settle down.
It's like when Morency ripped Subway once. Our boss didn't like that one too much. We got in big trouble. Anyway, hey, the subs were stale. What did you want? Like, give us better, fresher subs. What do we got here, Wetzel? What do you got for us here? Oilers.
All right, Edmonton Oilers. All right, Oilers have won 16 in a row. All right, we got the All-Star break. They come out of the All-Star break. FanDuel says, how long will the streak last? They play at Vegas to come out of the break, and then 3 days later they play at Anaheim. Vegas, if it's 16 games, in essence, they lose to Vegas, it's minus 105. If they win that one but lose to Anaheim, it's plus 5 to 1. And then if they win both, then it's plus 125 if they go 18, 19, 20, whatever the case may be. We're trying to figure out if it's better to bet the games individually, if you like the 18 games or more, or do we take a flyer on them losing game number one?
I'm trying to think about the juice situation. So 16 against Vegas. What do you think the line would be, guys? Edmonton minus 115, 120?
That's it right there. It's minus 15, probably minus 105 on the other side, hence that price. They're not going to be 6 to 1 at Anaheim, but they're probably not going to lose to Anaheim. So your bet is, do they beat Vegas on Tuesday? Because they're going to beat Anaheim on Friday, and then you get to the Saturday game.
You know what, though, Dave? If you parlayed them beating Vegas and Anaheim, it's better than plus 125.
That's what we said.
That's it.
Great
mind.
It's
not our first rodeo, guys. Like, you're not talking to some kids here that are like, "Hey, man, you want to play the shell game, the cards, roll some marbles?" Like, no. Like, I go, if you even against Anaheim, they're probably going to be what, minus 200 on the road.
I was going to say
probably higher than that.
300. Okay, yeah, maybe I'm just saying out of the break, maybe a little bit. Okay, let's say 260 range to 300. They'll be almost a pick 'em in Vegas, so. Yeah, I'd rather do the parlay, to be honest with you. I got to tell you, that Vegas game's tough, too. You're Edmonton coming out of the skills competition, and your two best guys are there. Draisaitl and McDavid are there. Like, Vegas can win that game. If they get through Vegas, they'll probably beat Anaheim. But I don't know, man. I'd rather parlay that stuff. But it is a record. But you know what, Dave? Me and Morency were talking about this. Remember the Flyers? I have the hockey card upstairs. It's like unbeaten in 34, but they had ties back then. Remember, they didn't lose a game for, was it 30-something games? I had the Philadelphia Flyers were on that roll. They didn't lose. But there were ties. That's the difference, right? So, we're in a different world. But you know what, guys? I'd parlay it. I don't want to screw around with it.
That's the answer.
What are you saying, Dave?
How about Austin Matthews? Let's go Austin Matthews.
Listen to this.
FanDuel offers up, will he be able to get, and we're not going to use 10 because they offer how many goals will they score, Cam, in the month of February, right? So Matthews, 10 goals is plus 145. I got too many bills for that. So can he get to 15 goals? 28 to 1. He's got 40 in 46 games this year. He had 11 in 13 games in the month of January. Can he go on a little run here and get to 15 in February with 12 games in February?
How many games do they? So they have 12 games, 15 goals?
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. I'd play that at 28 to 1. He's streaky, too. Remember when he starts off the year, he gets 4 against Ottawa and stuff? When he gets them in barrels. The question is then sometimes he'll go a couple games without and get like a hat trick. So, yes, I would play that at 28 to 1. And why wouldn't you play the bottom one? 2 more goals for that price? What the hell was that price? Can you put that back up there, Frankie Font?
120.
Gary Graphic. Let me see that one again. It looked like it had a lot of zeros in it. Let's take whoa. Give me your money. Yes, sir. 120 to 1, I'm willing to bite.
Yep.
Put the hook in my lip. I'm in for 120 to 1. 2 more goals. You go from 28 to 120. God, I'm such a sucker. That's why the sports books love me, Dave. I just keep on giving.
What happens if you get there and you got a game or two to work with, you can just bet them not to score to
Yes.
cancel it out. Like you can't
Great
lose.
call.
Like if he gets hot, he goes a game or two with a hat trick, and you're ahead of pace. You can work off of that. You will not lose with 120 to 1. Cam, with the golf betting, if you get
Oh, I do.
live to Sunday with a guy sitting at 120 to 1, you can maneuver and profit. And that's all we're trying to do.
Well,
every
Dave,
week
it's
here.
better than golf. I don't have to worry about two turkeys shooting 62, and I can't hedge on everybody. I have to just say no goal. That's the whole problem with
Correct.
golf. I could be sitting there with a guy at 500 to 1, but I didn't see the other guy go 8 under through the first 10 holes. And then I'm like, whoa, man, what am I going to do here? That's the whole problem with golf. There's too many guys.
Correct.
I've done that before. I'm like, I'm just going to take out the whole field. Then you've lost like 10 times the money you were going to. And then you just sit there and go, ooh,
Correct.
that was a very tough Sunday. Yeah, I don't want to do that again.
Absolutely.
Done it a few times, Wetzel.
Yes.
Yeah.
You'll be reffing a lot of
you
grade
look at
4
the-
basketball after those bets, buddy, to make up the change that I've lost doing these live golf bets, I'll tell you.
Right.
Yeah, golf is tough. Golf is tough. By the way, you look at Toronto's schedule, you got the Islanders give up a ton of goals at home. You got Philadelphia that doesn't know if it's coming or going with their situation. You got Anaheim on there. You got Arizona twice. You do have Vegas and Colorado, but you got a couple of St. Louis a couple times. You got a couple of
Arizona's good.
We need a couple of hat
That's
tricks,
important.
right? But
That's important to know. Arizona's important to know. He's from Arizona. He always plays in Arizona well against Arizona. Austin Matthews is born in Arizona. So you play the
kid.
Coyotes. Like he's good for a couple, maybe. And that's why I like even the 10 at 145. You know what, Wetzel? It's kind of like golf. You pick a winner. The second leg is a T10.
Top 10.
And the other one's a T20.
Right.
Giddy up. Little sprinkle, just like on the donuts. Yeah.
Like
Sometimes, Dave. Sometimes it's rocks. Sometimes it's not. You never know. You never know what you're going to get from me. Mostly
You
rocks.
got any college
Celtics are
basketball
going to
tonight?
lose.
Yeah, I'm on
Celtics
Wright
are gonna lose.
State.
Forget about it.
I'm on
We're
Wright
done
State
talking.
against Youngstown State, Dave. I love the Horizon League. Me and Gabe a long time ago said our goal one day we're going to go to Northfield Racetrack where they run the horses twice a night. It feels that way anyway. There's 17 races. He likes Cleveland State, and I've always been a Wright State guy. I love the city of Dayton. I respect the Dayton Flyers are actually having a really good year in college basketball, but Wright State is a school in Dayton, and they're playing Youngstown State, the Penguins tonight. I'm a Wright State guy, Dave. If you ever know, like the Wright State Raiders, that's like my favorite team in the Horizon League. One of my, you know me, Dave. I love these small conferences. I'm not too cool for school with the Big Ten and whatever. I like to get down and dirty with Cleveland State, Northern Kentucky. That's my jam right there. The Horizon League.
I like it. Yep.
Yeah.
I knew you would. That's good.
Yes,
I see the Oregon lines up to 3.5 at USC. Oregon laying 3.5 over Bronny and
That's a
company.
trap.
That line has jumped.
I know.
USC's horrible.
USC's so
wow.
bad, boys.
I
know.
don't like Dave. Are you feeling sucker line right there? I'd make that line a little bit higher, even though Oregon's like on the road. USC blows. Like those guys are not
They're
a good
terrible.
basketball team. I would take the Oregon Ducks in that situation, but we'll see.
Me too. All right,
Cam, great job as always. Cam and Gabe, top of the hour. Enjoy your bets.
You got it.
Cam.
Quarterback at quarterback. We're going to lay some juice. We're going to have some dog prices, and we're going to go right in the middle.
Because I don't know what they're doing. To me, they're in a complete rebuild, Kev.
Go run. That's where overbackers on this 51.5 shot.
So right now, we saw a little bit more over money, but it's hovering right around.
The winner of this game will be the division
I don't
favorite.
care if they win because all we care about is the money, baby. The money.
Pro Football Today. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
I can tell you, like, Las Vegas is heavy San Francisco territory. All right, there are a ton of Niner fans, man, in Las Vegas and in Nevada, and specifically Reno. Reno's close, obviously, right? So, like, Reno's numbers will be a little bit different, but the total of 47.5. I get it.
Sports Rage Late Night. Only on SportsGrid.
I kind of thought that Mike would maybe go in a different direction or at least listen to some people with some different ideas.
If you were going to retain Mike Tomlin as coach, and I believe with both feet that you shouldn't let him really anywhere near this hire. That he had proved over the years that this was not an area of comfort or expertise for him.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Purdue on the road in a very difficult place to win in Piscataway, New Jersey. Not in Jersey Mike's Arena, but in the rack. It was tight.
You still have to win these games. Like, you can talk about even the equated to the NBA. Like, OKC just rolling into Detroit, going like, yeah, this is going to be an easy victory, and not coming away with the W because you're not focused here. Good move there for the Purdue Boilermakers. You can take a look at Zach Edey.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
One that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in-game live, prime time. Wrapping up a quick 2 hours, as it always is here on the grid with yours truly, Scott Wetzel, Dave Sharapan. So a couple things here real quickly. Celtics down 9, 46 seconds left. Just pathetic. They now lost 3 of their last 5 home games. They lose to the Lakers, which is bad enough. You lose to the Lakers without LeBron, without AD. You just can't take this team seriously. You just can't. College basketball, I will tell you, I do like the under UCLA tonight, under 124.5. That line dropped from 126.5. And I do think Oregon wins against USC. Again, it jumped from 2.5. Now it's up to 3.5. So the money clearly, Dave, is coming in on Oregon. So give me the Ducks and then the under in the UCLA game. What about you?
Switch to the Lakers hat. I had this one handy just in case we needed it. The purple with the LA script.
Oh, yes.
It's pretty sharp. Yeah, a little the old school baby blue in there to match the Vegas gear for the Super Bowl. We're all ready to go, geared up for the weekend. Send me your sizes, Wetzel. I'll get you some gear if you'd like, some Super Bowl Vegas gear.
Cool. Appreciate that.
I don't know what to say. I mean, it was plus 850 on the money line before the game on the Lakers, the Celtics. Dopey.
Wow.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it, but it happens. We need this Knicks. Is the Knicks final yet? I need the Knicks. I mean, they're making me sweat here. There's a couple seconds left in the game. They're up a couple. Okay, let's go Knicks. New York Knicks basketball. They came all the way back. That's good. Watch. I hope the Black Cloud wins. I'm rooting for the Black Cloud. I won't see you the rest of the week. I'm leaving you with this. Who's winning the Super Bowl? Who do you have?
Kansas City. Kansas City by double digits.
You're going alt line?
Alt line, Kansas City. Brock Purdy, 3 interceptions. Kyle Shanahan implodes. Yeah. KC lock. Lock of the year. Best bet on the board.
I don't even know who you are.